Hi there, you must be Brenda Donely.
Hi, yeah.
Steve Owens.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to our program.
Thank you.
I understand that you have been very involved in this garden here at the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about the cabin and the garden you have here?
The cabin was moved into Weatherford from outside of town in 1998 for the Weatherford Centennial. It's been here since that time, and they open it from time to time for people to go in. It's full of stuff, and it's interesting. But we thought it'd be fun to add this heirloom garden to the site and grow plants that would have been grown in the time frame of the garden.
And the cabin was built in?
Probably 1890
around
or
1890?
before. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess you did a lot of research to see which plants were used at that time?
We contacted several heirloom gardens around the country that we knew of, and I talked to Harn Homestead, I talked to the museum in Woodward, and they gave me the name of a lady in Enid who is a retired professor of American folklife and also a master gardener. And she sent me some plant lists and got us started with ideas for the garden. But then we faced the problem of what to grow. Mostly anybody living in this cabin would have grown vegetables, and everything would have had a purpose. It would have been vegetables and herbs.
Something useful in the garden rather than so many flowers. Right,
but we knew that we needed to plant something that would be aesthetically pleasing to people to get them to get out of their cars and come over here and look at it. So we opted for the aesthetics and ended up with a lot of flowers.
Well, I think it looks really good.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about this plant?
Yeah, this plant is called Job's Tears. And the research shows that it was grown. It had several purposes. These little seeds, you can see they're different colors here, and this is a ripe one, that black one. The white ones could be ground and used in bread making or beer making, so they must have some sort of yeasty quality. But the black ones, when they were ripe like this, they're hard, and they used them in jewelry making. You talked about rosary beads, things like that.
So they would grow their own jewelry beads.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
They got creative.
And this plant?
This is called shoe fly. The blooms aren't open right now, but they've got a real pretty little purple bloom. And then as they ripen, there's one of the seed pods. Here's some that are already drying. And they're pretty too, to just leave them on. Yeah.
Display in the plant there. Yeah. And specific use for this?
It was planted around barns and outhouses because it repelled flies. That's the name, shoe fly
plant. Okay. I like this little fence you've got here.
Yeah, we had a storm back in April and lost a lot of limbs off of trees around town, and so we decided to make use of some of the limbs and build this little fence. We'd been to the Oklahoma gardening show in the city in February and got an idea similar to something that they had done there to build this little fence. We knew we needed to keep people from walking through, and we also knew that most of these plants were going to be tall and they needed to be staked. So it serves several purposes.
It seems like a lot of the old heirloom plants were taller varieties, and over the years they've been bred to be smaller.
And that makes it harder to grow in western Oklahoma, because I believe Weatherford is the wind capital of Oklahoma.
I can imagine. You guys have done a really good job with this. Good way to recycle.
Yeah.
This is an interesting vine you have here.
This is called ruby hyacinth bean, and this plant was grown by Thomas Jefferson at Monticello. He loved this plant, and this has really drawn a lot of interest because even after it blooms, these seed pods are so pretty.
Very colorful.
Yeah, people have really shown a lot of interest, and this is a really easy plant to grow. I've grown this for several years. It tries to take over.
And did I understand you to say that most everything in this garden was grown from seed?
It was grown from seed. We ordered seeds mostly from the internet from one company called Underwood Gardens. Their packets are great. They had a lot of information on them, and we planted them February, March, followed all the directions, and then began transplanting with moderate luck on the transplants. But I did save seeds I didn't use all the packets, and then I'd toss out seeds also. And I found we did better with just direct seeding.
Just direct seeding in the ground.
We sure did.
It's probably the method the pioneers probably used
more
than anything.
I'm sure it was.
Well, here's some tall, interesting plants.
Yeah, this is broomcorn, which was the original source for making brooms.
How about that?
It's not looking just real great. It hadn't withstood the wind as well as some things. We've had to do a lot of staking. And like normal corn, it's doing its thing here. But we do plan to try to make an actual broom out of this.
That'll be exciting
it'll be fun to
undertake.
See what we get, yeah.
Yeah. And you have several herbs in this garden, I see.
They used lots of herbs for medicinal purposes, for seasoning, and they came up with lots of uses for things.
Okay, very practical garden.
Yes.
I like the castor beans here in the back.
Yeah, they're really showy and pretty, the fruit on there. The castor bean dates back to 4000 BC, the research showed. They found castor bean oil in Egyptian tombs. They used it for lamp oil.
That's incredible. Well, they certainly are showy. I can see you have a goldenrod in the back there,
yes.
And this is a very, very showy plant down here, this little lemon bee balm.
Yes, they used that for making teas, probably some medicinal purposes also, but mainly I think it was used for tea, and it is an interesting plant.
A little bit of lemon flavor
in
the tea. And right here we have a hypericum.
Yeah, St. John's wort as we know it. We know it now to be used to treat depression. It dates back to the Crusades. The research showed they used it as an anti-inflammatory for sprains and contusions. So it had lots of uses also.
Okay, well I really like the idea of all this collection of practical plants, and I think you guys have done a really good job of recreating a little pioneer garden scene here.
It's drawn a lot of interest, and we've had a lot of fun, and it's been a really educational project. We've really had fun working on it.
Okay. So. Well, thank you very much for showing it to us.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. You can also find more recent videos on our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.